this next video is about rescues and survival stories. Check the title. Deceased girl appears during her search. What happened next shocks everyone. Let's check it out.
They were stranded on a sailboat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean for nearly 5 months.
They spot the man clinging to a large rock in the middle of the whitewater.
A man found trapped on a cliff face, unconscious, as police work to get him down.
Authorities in Australia located a missing toddler.
We found him, boys! We found him! 4 days! 4 days!
From documented survival stories to daring rescues, the word might seem like a huge place to get lost and never be found. Here are some of the most shocking searches and rescues ever to be recorded on camera. Lost man found. You won't believe it, but this duo survived 3 grueling months lost in the vast ocean.
An Australian sailor and his dog have been rescued off the coast of Mexico after spending 3 months at sea.
In the vast Pacific, there was a daring Aussie sailor named Timothy Shatta.
Just stop for a minute and let that sink in. 1, 2, 3 months at sea, him and his dog. Fam, if that ain't will to live, I don't know what is, because I'm wrapping my mind around how can you survive 3 months out there? I don't even know if I could do 3 days, 3 hours, let alone 3 months.
He and his loyal dog set sail on their azure dream for adventure. But unfortunately, a furious storm hit one day, throwing them off, and their navigation gear went haywire. Just when hope seemed almost gone, a Mexican tuna boat appeared on the horizon, giving them another chance to live their life.
Hi, sir. Do you speak English? Yeah. How are you? You okay?
As they touched land in Manzulio, he was admitted to hospital. Overwhelmed with gratitude, he expressed, "I didn't think I'd make it." But life had other plans for him. Boy found in woods. The Australian outback had proven to be a harsh and unforgiving place, but this young boy's resilience had kept him going. It all began when an Australian boy went missing from his family's rural property. When his parents lost all hope, a heartwarming discovery was revealed in the Australian wilderness. A boy, dressed in nothing but a sweatshirt and diapers, was found sitting by a creek, cupping water in his tiny hands to drink.
After 3 days of searching, authorities in Australia located a missing toddler.
This remarkable moment took place 3 days after he had gone missing, giving his parents exhilarating joy.
We found him, boys! We found him, boys! We found him! 4 days!
When rescuers stumbled upon him, a collective gasp of relief and disbelief echoed through the wilderness.
And I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's a miracle.
Capsized ship survivor. Beneath the waves near Istanbul, an incredible story emerged in October 2020 when a fishing boat capsized. You won't believe, but deep inside the sunken vessel in a small air pocket, the ship's cook, Kamel, clung to life. Turkish police divers, being heroes in their own right, ventured into the submerged boat. Their amazement knew no bounds as they found him standing there, alive. They quickly equipped him.
How much air do you have in there? How did how do you get in air? Are you diving out, coming to the top, then coming back inside? What are you doing? And I doubt you're doing that, because if that, then I'm gonna try to make a swim for it at least. So I'm confused about air supply.
Him with a diving mask and breathing gear, guiding him to safety. It was like a scene from a Hollywood movie, but this time it was real life. An incredible tale of survival beneath the waves. Pilot rescued. In November 2023, a heart-pounding race against time happened. when, from nature's relentless forces, a pilot was rescued.
There was a remarkable rescue today in South Florida. A man crashed his small plane into the gator and bug-infested Everglades overnight, and then
A small single-engine plane crashed on the vast expanse of the Florida Everglades. But that's not all. The pilot was the only one on board who became stranded in the untamed wilderness, where alligators were infested, sitting on the plane's wing above waters filled with alligators. It's a pretty wild and spooky place out there in the Everglades. But the good news is that Broward County rescue team put in a ton of hard work to figure out how to save him.
Step by. Rescuers coming inside the cabin. Rescuer and victim are inside the cabin.
It was like real-life action movie, and they were the heroes trying to rescue the pilot.
He had to have a guardian angel. Like, how did no gator try him sitting there? Like, he was just food for them. You know what I mean? Food just sitting there and nothing. Like, I'd have been scared to death. I'd probably had a heart attack. As soon as I seen a gator come out of the water, they'd have gotten me.
Amazing mountain rescue. Bringing in a helicopter wasn't a really easy task, so this rescue team chose to rely on their trusty vehicles and their feet to reach their destination. In the picturesque Lake District of the UK, a young girl found herself in a tricky situation far from the ground. But here's the exciting part. Critical care, being the first responders, quickly arrived for the help. And unbelievably, they managed to do it by air in 90 seconds only, which they believed was a great achievement for them. The future looked promising, and this was just the beginning. And who knows what other efficient technologies are in store? Boy in cornfield. In Minnesota, a heartwarming scene was captured in October 2017 when a little boy's curiosity got the best of him, and he went straight into the towering cornfield.
Of the 2-year-old and his dog hopelessly lost in a giant cornfield.
But he was not alone, as his trusty 4-legged friend, a 12-year-old puppy, didn't hesitate to follow him and kept a watchful eye on the little adventurous boy. Well, the rescue team arrived and their camera captured the dog wagging its tail as a guiding light, which made them alert that there's something suspicious in the cornfields. And after hours of struggling, they luckily found the duo.
A boy and his dog, and a cornfield.
No doubt this was the true depiction of how faithful dogs are. Base jumper rescued. In the thrill-seeking world of cliff parachuting, an adventure in Thailand took an unexpected turn. A daredevil parachutist who finds himself in leaping off cliffs found himself in a more perilous situation than he had ever imagined. As he descended gracefully, his parachute unexpectedly snagged on a protruding rock. There, 200 meters above the ground, he dangled in midair.
He is dangling precariously, clinging only to his parachute strings.
For several long hours, he suspended in a breathtaking but dangerous high-wire act. Even the most brave adrenaline addicts would admit that nature's surprises may occasionally outdo the most daring actions.
Could you imagine hanging and every movement that you sit there and you might hear a tear coming from your chute, bro? I'd be trying to make myself so light, so skinny, so weightless. Like, I'd be trying to be just light as I could be so that thing doesn't rip and I fall to my death.
Reunion after decades. Let's move on to a story about unwavering love, perseverance, and the powerful force of never giving up on family. This incredible story began in 1997 when their 2-year-old son was innocently playing outside their home in Shandong province.
In 1997, their 2-year-old son was playing outside their home in Shandong province.
He was abruptly snatched by an unknown woman.
When he was abducted by an unknown woman.
Official searches couldn't find their son, but his parents never lost hope.
An official investigation for the child proved fruitless, but the boy's parents did not give up.
His dad, determined to find his child, traveled across China. Heroic rescue. Trapped woman rescued.
What? Like, man, y'all gotta reevaluate this hiking thing. All right, I get it. You love to do it. You know what I mean? But man, start going with a group of people, not just one person. I mean, come on.
In June 2019, a puzzling call reached mountain rescuers. A friend reporting her companion missing while skiing on a glacier. Fears of a crevice fall spurred a rapid response from the rescue team. Upon arrival, they spotted a man waiting on the snow, calling for help. The brave rescuers descended into the crevice and discovered the lost woman over 10 meters below the surface.
On the Glacier du Géant, Francois is at the bottom of the crevice. He is assessing the victim's condition.
Miraculously, despite the crevice's depth of over 15 meters, she was safe and sound. Thankfully, with unwavering determination, they used a boat winch and a small motor to successfully rescue the lady, pulling her back to safety. Trapped kayaker saved. On the 2nd of November 2013, a group of 7 kayakers embarked on an afternoon paddle down the Lynn River in Devon, UK. During their adventurous journey, they encountered a challenging drop, and one of the kayakers found himself in a perilous situation. He was pushed off course, became vertically pinned in the water. His body was trapped, and the strong current held his head underwater. One of the rescuers captured the moment from a helmet GoPro camera, where they all sprang into action. They rescued him just in time, dragging him out of this perilous situation, all thanks to their quick and resolute efforts.
Oh, wow. Close call, mate. Long's one and ends out. Cheers, Mark. Woo!
Miracle rescue. Talk about luck. This diver's guardian angel was working really hard so that he miraculously survived. In this harrowing tale of survival, 21-year-old Florida freediver Dylan Gartenmeyer found himself in a life-threatening situation. While exploring the Florida Straits, he became entangled in a relentless current that swept him away.
Spent hours alone at sea after being pulled by a powerful current off Key West.
Dylan faced chilling challenges. Over the course of 4 grueling hours, he was carried a mile away and plunged to depths of 150 feet. It was a desperate struggle for survival as he had lost sensation in his hands and toes. Miraculously, he resurfaced and his family swooped in to rescue him from the treacherous waters.
Oh my God, Dylan!
Sea stranded for months. These 2 women made headlines around the whole world when they were found. In 2017, 2 American women along with pets endured a terrifying maritime voyage.
They were stranded on a sailboat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean for nearly 5 months.
Jennifer Appel and Tashu Fubu set off sailing with their canine pals from Hawaii to Tahiti.
On May 3rd, the friends set sail from Hawaii to Tahiti with their dogs, Zeus and Valentine.
With a damaged mast, a storm-swamped motor, and a failing communication system, their voyage turned into a nightmare. Their daily distress calls remained unanswered as they were stranded in the huge Pacific.
A storm swamped their motor and their communication system failed. They told CBS affiliate KGMB no one heard their calls.
They lived for nearly 5 months on water purifiers and dried food.
Yesterday morning, the USS Ashland arrived.
After the efforts of the U.S. Navy, at last they were all saved, thankfully.
I know them dogs like, I'm never going nowhere with them again. I don't care if they're my owners, bro. I'm never going no 5 months on water. I was just talking about the dude and dog earlier with 3 months. This is 5 months, almost half a year out there. So you know, now, listen. I don't know how you're going to do it, but if you ever go out there on water by yourself and you're out there deep, deep in the sea, Pacific, wherever, Atlantic, please pack a year's worth of food and water. I don't know how you're going to do it, but figure it out, bro. That way, if you're stranded, you have enough food to last at least a year. Because, hey, you could be out there for a while, it seems.
You're alive, you're fed, you have water, your boys are happy, and there's love.
Amazing survival tale. Get ready to be surprised, as this is a story of incredible survival. In November 2021, a 69-year-old man set out alone on a boat to the beautiful island of Yakushima, Japan. But his journey took a dangerous turn when his boat capsized in rough seas off Kagoshima Prefecture. He was found adrifting for a staggering 22 hours with no drink and the cold water gnawing at him.
This man was relieved to see someone, anyone, after almost 22 hours stranded at sea.
A Coast Guard official rightfully called it a miracle that he survived. I'm sure you guys are also thinking that this man must have served great in his life. That ruthless nature gave him another golden chance to survive. This man's sheer determination and hope, clinging to the unknown, defied all the odds. Lost boy found. In a heartwarming rescue, a young boy and his loyal black Labrador found themselves in an unexpected adventure when they got lost in the woods. They had strayed from home in New Jersey and were missing for over an hour when state troopers arrived to help.
You're okay. You're okay.
During the search, a trooper and the boy's mother heard his voice in the distance, making them run nearly half a mile into the woods. There, they discovered the little boy, visibly anxious but safe, with his faithful dog right by his side. The boy...
That's like a parent's worst nightmare, fam. Are you kidding me? Bro, I would be a shell of myself. You talking about my kid missing out there, no, like by himself, probably screaming for his mom and dad. I can't get to him. Oh my gosh, bro. Don't get me wrong. I'm searching, searching until I can't. It's no stopping. I'm gonna search forever. But fam, if that won't have me messed up.
Boy had been looking for his missing shoe, but was miraculously all right.
I love my shoes!
Sea miracle. Tony Bullamore's voyage in the perilous Southern Ocean was exposed 26 years ago in a miraculous survival story. His boat, the Capsized Challenger, lost its keel while competing in the 1996 Vendée Globe competition.
Within seconds, literally 2 or 3 seconds, the boat had gone
and sank in some of the most dangerous waters on Earth. For 4 terrifying days, he was left alone and confronted the freezing chasm.
He struggled to survive in the icy water.
Finally, an Australian ship heard Bullamore's distress call and quickly rushed through severe weather to reach the overturned boat. The world couldn't believe their eyes when they witnessed his amazing survival and began appreciating this man's resilience. Lost children found. Captivated by the allure of a dry brook, 3 daring kids went off the route in the middle of Sam Houston National Forest. They were lost, but not scared, so they sought safety under an uprooted tree. Meanwhile, on the morning of October 1st, 2021, a Good Samaritan alerted to their abduction ventured into the woods. They happened to cross paths by chance. With a smile, the volunteer asked the hungry trio if they wanted cheeseburgers.
You got cheeseburgers in your car? We're gonna get something to eat, okay?
In the midst of the forest embrace, a Montgomery County Sheriff's deputy emerged as their savior, transforming a potentially disastrous trip into a story of unexpected companionship and the soothing perfume of rescue.
Hey, remind them about them cheeseburgers, okay?
Incredible helicopter rescue. Ever felt the sea breeze and you start thinking that life's a smooth sail? Well, guess again. Out there by John Brewer Reef, the gang's boat decided to pull a surprise flip, making a sunny day a tad splashier than planned. So 4 people bobbed in the waves, hoping for a rescue ticket. Like magic, a helicopter zoomed in, bringing the lifesavers on board. It was like a movie scene, but without any bruises or drama, just big-time relief. Those chopper angels turned their watery pickle into a solid ground reunion. Proving that even when the sea throws a curveball, there are folks in helicopters who know how to turn things around. You can say that seas may be tricky, but rescuers are the real MVPs. Rescue amid raging water. Ever get caught in a river's wild dance? No? Then see how it happens. In Shasta County, a dad braved the rapids to save his son, but the water had its own plans. He himself got stuck in the middle of the raging waters, but luckily a large rock saved him from sweeping away.
They spot the man clinging to a large rock in the middle of the whitewater.
A chopper ballet disclosed as the rescue team spotted him, clinging to a rock.
I got him now. I'm gonna start lowering Daniel down.
The son made it ashore, but Dad got stuck. Watch this daring volunteer in a basket.
Just trying to work him into the basket. The guy's not very confident about getting in.
One false move and they are in for a double plunge in the river.
Did he say the guy's not very confident about, bro, do you realize it's either me in this basket or you in this water? Which one is it gonna be? Like, there's no, what do you mean you don't feel comfortable? You want to stay out here? You're comfortable out here on this rock? Are you kidding me? I heard that. I was like, am I here? I know I didn't hear that right. Maybe I didn't hear that right. Maybe I did.
But wait, with some epic piloting and a balancing act, they snatched Dad from the brink and proved that with river heroics and teamwork, even raging waters can't wash away the power of rescue. Mountain hiker rescue. A hiker against the breathtaking backdrop of Milwaukee Lake in Washington state found himself in a gripping predicament on June 30th. Clinging to a cliff face, the man wearing a green rucksack was trapped above the serene waters. The reason behind his cliffside ordeal remains a mystery. As the clock ticked, the stranded hiker feared he couldn't hold on until help arrived. Teams from Seattle Mountain Rescue were en route but hours away. But thankfully, the team arrived and brought him to safety. Avalanche hit skiers. Lost on treacherous slopes, 3 skiers took a wrong turn, finding themselves stuck on one of the mountain's steepest and most perilous faces. A desperate call for help reached the rescue team, prompting an urgent search operation. Panicking at the cliff's bottom, the skiers faced a dire situation. In harsh weather, 2 brave rescuers descended via winch to their aid.
2 rescuers will be winched down to try to pick up the skiers.
Negotiating a narrow corridor with a daunting 50-degree slope, the mission became a technical challenge.
La largeur des skis et une pente qui était au-delà de 50 degrés, donc c'était vraiment technique.
Against the odds, they successfully pulled the stranded skiers to safety. I'm sure they would never dare to play with fire now.
Nope.
Man stuck on Niagara Falls. Back on April 6, 2018, Niagara Falls turned into a scary scene. There was this guy hanging just a meter from the edge. There was only one thing that was protecting him from sweeping away: a rock. His foot jammed behind a rock, barely stopping him from falling.
One single tiny slip from the point of no return.
The noise from the falls was so loud, drowning out everyone's breath.
You could hear 1,000 voices saying, "Oh my God."
Each second feels like forever.
No one's ever been that close and survived.
But here comes the rescue team. Heroes in a helicopter, facing the strong pull of Niagara's waves, the rescuers pulled him away from the scary edge. This incredible save turned what could have been a big disaster into a crazy story of people being brave and nature being super powerful.
That driving force turned the man on the brink who thought he'd lost it all gambling into one of the luckiest men on Earth.
Vehicle plunged off cliff. Imagine this crazy scene in January 2023 when a Tesla zooming off a California highway and taking a nosedive off a cliff. But wait, here's the jaw-dropper that amazingly all 4 passengers inside not only survived but lived to tell the tale. A car all twisted and messy was right at the edge of a cliff. Then, dead set on saving the day, the rescue heroes came in. It was like a crazy movie. But guess what? They managed to get everyone out safe and sound. This scary situation turned into this incredible story of luck and bravery, and you could almost hear everyone taking these giant breaths of relief. Fishing went wrong. Man suffered a medical emergency and was unable to climb to safety. Fortunately, a chopper dropped from above and grabbed the duo from the cliff's edge in a daring air rescue. Lost soccer team. On June 23, 2018, during football practice, 12 boys ages 11 to 16, along with their 25-year-old coach, went into Thailand's Tham Luang Nang Non cave. Unexpected heavy rains flooded the cave, trapping them inside for 10 agonizing days.
You have been here 10 days. 10 days. You are very strong.
Amidst global concern, the soccer team was miraculously found alive. The discovery marked a moment of collective relief and joy. The harrowing ordeal turned into a story of resilience as the boys and their coach faced adversity in the dark depths.
I'd have been yelling, man, I hope y'all brought some food. like old dude said earlier, cheeseburgers or something.
Their survival against the odds became a testament to the power of hope and the extraordinary efforts of the rescue teams who worked tirelessly to bring them back to safety. Bushwalker rescued.
Good evening. We've witnessed an extremely dangerous and delicate rescue
in Glenbrook Blue Mountains as a bushwalker found himself in a perilous situation on the edge of a cliff.
Near Glenbrook, a life-saving rescue operation.
The situation turned critical when in September 2022, the man was discovered unconscious on the cliff face.
Good afternoon. We begin with an unfolding situation in the Blue Mountains. A bushwalker has been stuck on a rock ledge.
Every move in the rescue operation was a calculated risk, with crews fully aware that the slightest misstep could lead to a disaster. The delicate dance against time and danger heightened the tension. But against the odds, they successfully pulled the unconscious man to safety. Another boy found in forest.
A miraculous story of survival in Lincoln County as a 3-year-old boy was...
In a riveting story, a 3-year-old Montana kid called Riker was discovered alive after being lost in the woods for 2 days. Over 50 individuals participated in the intensive search, including the use of dog teams and drones. The tiny adventurer was nowhere to be seen as the sun set on the first day. The same thing happened on day 2. They couldn't find him. On Sunday, just when everything looked lost, they finally found him, mind-boggling 2.4 miles distant. Riker emerged from the forest hungry, thirsty, and cold, but he brought relief and excitement to all who had worked relentlessly to ensure his safe return. Stranded wildlife rescuers.
Incredible video of a rescue in the LaSalle Mountains just east of Moab after a helicopter crash stranded 3 people.
In Utah's LaSalle Mountains, 3 wildlife researchers survived a dramatic downing of their chopper into a snowy cliff due to technical failure. But wait, here comes the plot twist. A rescue helicopter, like a superhero in the sky, showed up just in time to airlift these researchers out of the snowy mess. Talk about a real-life cliffhanger, huh? It's like nature threw him a curveball, and they turned it into an unexpected adventure. The researchers' survival, with a dash of helicopter heroics, makes you realize that even in the wild, there's a script only Mother Nature knows how to write. Needy dog rescued. Not only do humans have stories of gratitude, but so do our 4-legged friends. Meet a brave dog in Colorado who owes her life to selfless firefighters. After witnessing the helpless animal in need, the heroes rushed to her aid. To reach her, the brave firefighters slid over ice into a freezing pond, crossing treacherous frozen waters. They braved the weather, tumbling through ice themselves. Daring canine rescue.
Rescue people from the water, but Lestrant reports this latest rescue was of a dog named Dory.
Witness a heartwarming tale of bravery and compassion as human and canine spirits unite against the odds. In a gripping rescue mission, the U.S. Coast Guard helicopter becomes the beacon of hope for a stranded German Shepherd named Dory. She plunged 300 feet from an Oregon cliff at Ecola State Park. The waves slammed around her as she crawled away on her leg. Heroic U.S. Coast Guard fearlessly went into rough waters, navigating the elements to hoist the naive dog to safety. Pilot rescued.
We're getting a look at the moment a pilot was rescued in the Keys after his small plane crashed in the water.
In August 2023, flying from Florida to Key West, the skies turned treacherous for a pilot.
I was at 3,000 feet about 5 minutes from landing, and my right engine stopped working.
Disaster struck when his plane's
Listen to what he had no clue that was about to happen. See, this is what bothers me about planes, even single engine or small planes and stuff like that. It just happens, bro. And then you're like, oh, at least if you're in a car, the chances are greater you surviving that. Your engine goes out, catches fire, pull over to the shoulder, hop out. Car might be gone, but you still got your life. 3,000 feet in the air, might not make it down.
Engine conked out just 5 minutes from landing. Lost at sea for almost 2 scorching hours, the Florida sun beating down, the situation turned dire after the crash. Deputy then became the hero of the hour. In an unbelievable twist, he swooped in for an incredible rescue, snatching the pilot from the ocean's clutches. No doubt, it's the kind of stuff you see in movies, but this time, it played out for real in the Florida skies. Found after a decade.
Breaking news out of Cleveland tonight. 3 women rescued from a home after being held there for years against their will.
Witness this shocking discovery in Cleveland, Ohio, when 3 women missing for a decade were found alive. Amanda Berry, Gina DeSuze, and Michelle Knight, along with an unidentified 4th person, were rescued.
Just open the door. And she says, I can't, he got it locked. And I look how he has it, and it's only enough to reach a hand.
Amanda bravely called 911 after escaping, telling them she'd been kept captive for 10 years.
Oh, man, Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance?
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped, and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now.
The police arrested 3 men, aged 50, 52, and 54. One of them lived in the house. A neighbor, Charles Ramsey, heard Berry crying for help and called the police. They went to the house and rescued Berry and a young girl. It was a big shock and a relief that they found them after all those years. However, the profound rescue solved a decade-long mystery, giving these women a chance at a new beginning. Fisherman stranded. In the quiet of a 3 a.m. fishing trip off St. Augustine's coast, Charlie Gregory's world took a wild turn. A rogue wave knocked over his boat, swiping away his flares and cell phone, leaving him adrift 12 miles from shore with a dead motor. The Coast Guard kicked into high gear for a search mission. As their radar closed in on something in the vast ocean, an astonishing discovery unfolded. There was Charlie. The emotional reunion with his family became the silver lining to this watery ordeal. Charlie admitted losing all hope for survival, but against the odds, nature had a different plan for him, turning a potential tragedy into a miraculous tale of resilience and reunion. Capsized boat survivors. 2 Bahamian boaters found themselves stranded in the vast Gulf Stream for an unbelievable 8 days. They were stranded on the tranquil waters atop their capsized boat with no food or drink. Dehydrated, they clung to their fading hope. As their guardian angels were working really hard, a cargo ship spotted them, triggering a Coast Guard rescue. A daring Coast Guard crew swooped in with a rescue basket, hoisting them to safety. Tears, prayers, and an acknowledging nod. The men finally airlifted to a Florida hospital, marking an unbelievable tale of survival against all odds. Man's unbelievable survival.
Man in a boat has washed up on the remote Marshall Islands in the North Pacific. He claims he'd been drifting on the open ocean for 13 months.
Way back in November 2012, Salvador Alvarenga went fishing off Mexico's coast. But 2 days later, a big storm hit, and he sent out a desperate SOS. And then, can you believe it? No one heard from him for a whopping 438 days. A man in a boat suddenly showed up on the faraway Marshall Islands in the North Pacific. And yes, it was Salvador Alvarenga.
After 13 months adrift without a water supply, the apparent castaway was back on land holding a Coke.
After sailing from Mexico with a young buddy, he drifted for over a year and ended up 6,700 miles away on Ibon Atoll in the Marshall Islands.
Ay, Señor bendito, que me abarcó la lancha. Al segundo tumbo me tiré.
If you think that sounds unreal, you're not alone. It's one of those stories that makes you wonder about the incredible twists life can take. Shark-infested water rescue. In a dramatic rescue on Florida's intercoastal waterway, a mobile marine mechanic became an unlikely hero. While navigating the pitch-black waters in the morning, he spotted a lost kayaker who had been stranded for nearly 4 hours after his kayak sank.
I realize I'm in a horrible situation. There's feeding going on. At this point, we're at mid-outgoing tide.
He, while driving his 40-foot trawler, swiftly rescued the exhausted and disoriented kayaker.
I saw a brown puffy jacket and just 2 hands sticking out of the water.
Who had been on the brink of giving up. His chance encounter turned incredibly into a life-saving act. Despite initial confusion, he pulled the kayaker onto the deck. It was a race against time, and the mobile Marine's action saved David from a potentially dire fate.
I don't see how anybody could just give up. How you gonna give up, bro? You know what I mean? If you give up, then you know what's gonna happen, right? That could happen anyway. So why not fight? Why not try everything until your last breath? All you need is a little luck. That's it. So keep fighting. Don't give up, man. I can't stand hearing that. Man, I was giving up. Why? Nah, bro, I'm fighting until that last breath of me is gone. Okay, then it got me.
The unforgiving waters. Oscar-deserving survival. In one of the greatest survival stories, a boat, the Napoleon Solo, sank in the mid-Atlantic.
I kind of lay down in the boat and looked out at the waves, which are sort of the same eye level.
The sailor, Stephen Callahan, found himself alone and drifting in a life raft. He spent 76 days on that little raft 4 decades ago, turning a tragic shipwreck into an Oscar-worthy drama. Callahan, an excellent sailor returning alone from crossing the Atlantic, encountered a severe gale, which caused his boat to capsize. Despite his fears, he gathered supplies, stepping aboard a 6-foot rubber life raft, and tied himself to the sinking boat. He traveled 1,800 nautical miles in 2.5 months, subsisting on rainwater and raw fish. A true aquatic caveman's adventure, right? Florida mysterious woman. Folks, let's talk about something that's been on everyone's mind lately.
Now, the search for a woman who hasn't been seen in nearly 3 weeks is picking back up after a possible new clue was discovered in the case.
Ever heard of Paola Miranda Rosa? If not, then watch.
We've been finding flyers for Miranda Rosa down these trails here.
She's been missing since December 18th after a visit to a state park north of Orlando. The last time her family heard from her was on December 17th, 2021, right after lunch with her mom and uncle. Now, here's where it gets interesting. On January 5th, the police dropped a bombshell. They said Paola was spotted in video footage taken by hikers at Weka Springs State Park. Yeah, you heard it right, swimming and wading in a river on the very day she vanished. The hikers even snapped a couple of photos of her. It's like something out of a mystery novel, right? We all hope she's okay and can find her way back soon.